I've got the Pixel 4a here on Cricket, and if anyone has bought an unlocked phone in the past that's not a Cricket phone, you probably know it's hard to get voice over LTE and Wi-Fi calling to work. Cricket makes it fairly difficult for these features to work on phones that have the full capability to make it work. Well, it turns out in some cases the problem is how long have you been on Cricket? I've been on Cricket for a number of years, and when I just got this phone a few weeks ago, I had convinced myself it was just going to work out of the box with Wi-Fi calling and VoLTE, and it did not. It was deceiving because when you went into the settings menu and you go down to the network and you pick Cricket, and right here where it says VoLTE, I could turn it on, but it did not work. The same for the Wi-Fi calling. You go down to the advanced section, and in here, it would allow you to turn it on. You could register your emergency address, but it did not work. Now, how do you know it does not work? It's pretty simple. Go back to your main pull down. You put your phone into airplane mode right here. Now when you do that, it turns off Wi-Fi. So you turn back on Wi-Fi, and at that point you are now completely off the Cricket network as far as the radio goes, and you should have that airplane in the upper right there. And I was not able to make a call. After going on a lot of discussion forums, everybody was talking about white SIMs and green and white SIMs. I had a green and white SIM. And it turns out that is the secret to getting these newer phones to work with Cricket for Wi-Fi calling and VoLTE. You need to get an all-white SIM. You can call customer service, you can work with the tech support online, nothing works. Nothing. And the people are kind of clueless over there. So all you got to do is get a new white SIM card, and then you have the issue of transferring over. You don't want to activate a new phone number. So I originally was going to just buy the white SIM and get online with customer service and have them do the transfer. But Walmart and a couple other stores by me did not have the SIM kits available. They were kind of hard to find, so I had to go to an actual Cricket store. The Cricket store was very easy to work with, and I had assumed it was going to be an activation fee if I bought the white SIM from them and allowed them to do the conversion for me. And they don't charge any sort of activation fee. It's just $10 to get the card, and that $10 is the same if you go to Walmart or Target. You're not going to find it much cheaper than that. I wouldn't go to some oddball places like eBay. It's possible they'll have old stock, and they might sell you a white and green one. So be careful that you get something that's fairly current. Anyway, the lady at Cricket asked me what I needed the white SIM for, and I told her, I said I had a green and white. And she, I think, knew what I was talking about, so she must have experienced this before with other customers. And she said fine, and then I said, I'll do the activation myself, and she said I can do it for you, and that's when she told me there's no fee, just the $10. So I had her do the conversion. It takes a few minutes. There's a lot that they have to do on the point of sale terminal to set it up. It, for some reason, makes you reactivate your auto pay. So it's important to have the credit card that you use for auto pay with you, because you're going to have to reset up the auto pay in the store. It doesn't change your auto pay date. It doesn't restart anything on Cricket, but they do make you reset that up. So bring your credit card with you, and obviously have your phone with you. They do the work. It's pretty straightforward. After she converted everything, it took about a minute. The phone worked, And the way you really know if it works also, let's see if I can get this to do this. Right here you can see it's scrolling. It's saying Cricket Wi-Fi calling. That's another way you know if it's working. When I had my green and white SIM in there, it never showed that message on the top bar. And let me tell you, having Wi-Fi calling is great. I don't get a great signal here in the house. I'm going to turn it back on. Depends on where you are. Well, it's making a liar of me right now, but depending on where I am in the house, I only get like 1 bar, and actually it's going down now. So having the Wi-Fi calling, to me, really helped out a lot. The VoLTE, yeah, you hear a difference. The quality of the call is better, but I don't consider that a big deal. But the Wi-Fi calling is exactly what I wanted. Now, another thing, another note that I was really worried about when I was converting to the SIM, I use something called CCF, Conditional Call Forwarding. It's a feature where if you don't want to use Cricket voicemail and you want to use a third-party voicemail like Google Voice, you can send your voicemail to another party. So I was thinking or worried that by switching to SIMs it was going to reset my CCF. It did not. The CCF is hard to configure on Cricket. Most of the customer service reps don't know what you're talking about. And if you enter the tones, you can do it from the keypad on the phone, but it doesn't seem to work with a lot of the new phones. It doesn't work with the Pixel phones. I had an old Samsung S3 that worked, but much past that, I could never configure conditional call forwarding. So it's really good news that the CCF does not get reset when you transfer your SIM over. So hopefully that clears up the concerns with some people. I highly recommend taking a few minutes, go find a Cricket store, get the pure white SIM, and it only takes a few minutes. It's really not very complicated. And then you can get more advanced features out of your phone. Because I think most of us know we prefer to buy an unlocked phone that doesn't have all that bloat on there. When you get the phones like the Pixels from Google, there's zero bloat on these phones. There's no advertising. There's no apps on there that you can't uninstall because it's a plain Jane phone out of the box. You put on it what you want on there. You're not stuck with all this nonsense that the Cricket phones are going to give you. A buddy of mine has one of the Motorola phones. It's a really nice phone for the money, but there's so much junk on that phone and you cannot remove it. It's constantly advertising and it's annoying. And with this phone being $350 and it's a super phone, it's a great deal for budget phones.